All right, hello. Welcome to the final talk that I'll be doing for our 8-week challenge. There is one more talk next week that Dennis will be doing, and that'll kind of be the moving on from the challenge, right? And kind of how to navigate your next steps after these 8 weeks, and hopefully you've picked up some habits and some routines and things like that that you can carry on with you. So Dennis will be doing that for the final talk. For my final talk with you, we're going to be talking about the internet, okay? So the internet is definitely a double-edged sword, we'll say, right? There are so many positives to the internet where we're at now, and mainly social media. It's awesome that we can connect with so many people. We have so much information right at our fingertips. You can Google anything, right? Any question you have, nutrition or otherwise, you can find an answer. You can find experts in different fields, especially health, wellness, fitness fields online. You can follow all these people. Like, there's so much good stuff on the internet. It's awesome that it's become what it is. With that though, right, and having so much access and so much being on the internet, there's also a lot of misinformation. And so for just as many experts that are out there, there are a lot of people pretending to be an expert, right? And there's a lot of people that are just really good salesmen, right? And just really good at engaging you in a way. And so navigating the internet can be challenging. And so I think for the most part, just about everyone, right? We know, drink water, eat fruits and vegetables, eat protein, we got the basics, right? It can be really frustrating though. Sometimes you go online and nowadays you can find an article, you can find a video to basically say that anything that is healthy isn't healthy, right? You can find one topic, like let's take carbs, because that's a big topic, right? You can find just as many articles talking about how good carbs are for you as you can find articles saying how bad carbs are for you, right? You can find articles, studies, you can find people on the internet saying how good fruit is for you and the fiber that it has and the quick releasing sugars and all of these antioxidants, right? All these good things about fruit, you can find that. You can also find people saying how bad fruit is for you and how much sugar it has and it spikes your blood glucose and all of this stuff. So it can be really hard then if you're just kind of like, what do I do? Do I eat fruit? Do I not eat fruit? Are carbs good for me? Are they bad for me? How much of this should I have? What shouldn't I have? So my main, well, I have a bunch of advice, but the biggest thing is when you are making a nutrition change, right? Or you are finding things on the internet, or if you are unsure if maybe you have something going on with yourself, speak with a professional. And I don't mean DM someone on Instagram asking their advice. I mean, find a professional in real life, whether that be your doctor, a dietitian that you go see, right? Whether that be Dennis or myself, who are both nutritionists, whether that be a coach, like find somebody in real life that is a professional, make that appointment with them, talk to them about it. Because for every single thing that is out there about nutrition and living healthy and all of that good stuff, the answer is always going to be, it depends, right? So anything in terms of wanting to add things to your diet, take things out of your diet, supplementation, anything like that, any good coach and anyone on the internet that you're following, the answer should always at first be, it depends. It depends on what your current lifestyle looks like, what your current blood markers are, what your long-term goals are, what your day-to-day activities are like, how often you're working out, how much sleep are you getting, how stressed are you, right? There are so many factors that go into deciding how much you should eat, what your habits should look like, how you should navigate your day-to-day, that just getting a blanket answer from someone on Instagram isn't going to be directed towards you. So that's my big piece, is if you are truly looking to make a change, or if you're really curious about supplements for yourself, or wanting to go vegetarian, or whatever it is that you want to do, I'm always going to recommend speak with a professional in real life before you make those changes, okay? But that's not to say that these people online, these people we follow, different things we see, they can absolutely be giving us good pieces of advice. I follow tons of nutritionists and dietitians and weightlifting coaches, and I'm always picking up little pieces from these people. So it's not to say that everything on the internet is bad, right? Things to look out for when you are following these people. So some of it is be mindful of what that person's intention is, right? Is it someone who's really pushing that everyone needs to be taking vitamin D or vitamin C or whatever, right? Like they're really pushing, you gotta take these vitamins. Does it turn out that this person sells supplements, right? Like do they have a supplement line? Then I'd just be a little cautious of listening to their advice, right? Because they're obviously trying to push a product. If someone's really pushing, you know, whey protein and protein shakes and recovery drinks and this and that, does it turn out that they sell a line of those things, right? If someone's trying to sell you on doing a cleanse, I know everyone loves to talk about like a nutrition cleanse, okay? And then does it turn out that they sell some sort of cleanse juice or they run an 8-week, 12-week cleanse program? So always be mindful of what is this person's motive, right? Like what are they trying to get out of this? And most of the time you're gonna see they're selling something in line with what they're pushing. And not to say that what they're pushing, what they're saying isn't right or good information, not to say that you shouldn't be taking a vitamin D supplement, but it doesn't mean that you should just buy their product, take that, right? Again, meet with the professional, see where your blood work's at, talk about your lifestyle, and then decide if adding in a vitamin D or, you know, some juicing or whatever is good for you, your goals, your lifestyle, okay? When people, like, you know, another thing to kind of watch for, when people on the internet make these like outrageous absolute claims, right? Like they speak in absolutes, like you should never, you should always, there's like, saying things like that is just not realistic, right? To tell someone, and I'll use alcohol, right? I did the talk on alcohol a couple weeks ago. We'll use that as the example. Are there health benefits to drinking alcohol? No, okay? There's just not. But am I going to sit here and tell someone they should never drink? No, right? And, you know, unless it's a lifestyle problem, something like that, it's obviously a different situation. But if you are someone who just enjoys your glass of wine with dinner here and there, or you like having a beer watching the football game, or whatever that is, I'm going to talk to you, and most professionals are going to talk to you about building that into a healthy lifestyle. And so if someone's sitting there saying you should never have carbs, I guess that would be a better example because carbs are good for you. You know, so if they're saying that you should never eat a type of food group, that's a red flag, right? All foods, all food groups, all things like that can fit into a healthy lifestyle. So unless you have some sort of allergy, maybe you're celiac, you have Crohn, right? If there's something actually going on, of course, there are gonna be certain foods you have to avoid, certain things that you just may never be able to eat. But for most people who are, you know, healthy and they're just trying to live a healthier lifestyle, things like that, the never shouldn't be there, right? You can fit pizza into a healthy lifestyle. You can fit tacos and ice cream and whatever other stuff. You can fit all of those things into a healthy lifestyle. So if you're following someone online and they're saying never have these things, never do this, like you can't really make these absolute claims, you know? And so I take that back. I think drinking was a bad one because you can absolutely be healthy and never drink, and that's a fine one. But things like fruit, right? If someone's saying never eat fruit, if someone's telling you to cut out major food groups, that is a red flag. Because again, it goes back to what I just said about unless you have some sort of chronic disease, some health issue going on, there's no reason to cut out entire food groups, right? That's why I'm even a little hesitant about like keto. You know, a couple years ago, keto was really big. Everyone was doing it. If you're unfamiliar, keto is a high-fat diet. And so basically it's high-fat, high-protein, very low carb. I don't think you're supposed to eat any fruit on it. Carbs are very minimal. And so it was a really big trend for a while. To me, it is just not sustainable to live your whole life not eating certain food groups. And at some point, you are going to run into health issues by cutting out major food groups in your life. Okay, and so when you're, and you can absolutely find studies, right? So that'll kind of lead us into, you can absolutely find studies that show health benefits of keto. And I'm not saying there aren't benefits of it. There are benefits, right? There are benefits to doing almost any sort of diet for a period of time, because you're focusing on your nutrition, you're paying more attention, you're probably drinking more water, maybe sleeping better as well. And so you're going to find studies that show keto is beneficial, here are health benefits of it. I'd be curious to know more like long-term things that have come out, because it's a more recent popular one. But also when you're looking at studies, right? If you are someone who does that background info, you read studies, something to keep in mind, studies that you read should always be peer reviewed. And so if you're reading a headline on Instagram, right, you're just reading a slide of something, that's not an article, right? That's not reading the research, that's not reading an article, that's reading a catchphrase. So make sure if you really are seeing something that's like, oh, like this is saying not to have carbs. Okay, well, is this a peer-reviewed study? How many people were in this study? Who was funding this study, right? Coca-Cola has funded lots of studies, right? And so keep in mind, whoever is funding, whoever's, paying for this study to be done might have a certain agenda that they're trying to push across, and so sometimes too, even when you just read the abstract of a study, it might show, it might say like there were no significant health changes when people were drinking 12 ounces of Coca-Cola a day, right? I don't know, I'm just making this up, whatever that is. And so and then you might look at it and be like, oh, so drinking pop is fine, I can have a Coca-Cola a day, it's not a big deal. Maybe though, if you read further into that study, there might be some slight changes in health markers and things like that, but it wasn't significant enough for them to say there was this huge change. But it's still saying there were changes. Or was their sample size 10 people, right? Doing a study with 10 people may give very different results than if you do a study with 100 people or 1,000 people. So keeping in mind that while yes, it's great, we have all of this information really quick at our fingertips, right? I can Google right now, are bananas healthy, right? And you can find all of this stuff, but then it really is taking the time to kind of sift through all of that information and just, is this a reliable source? Is this trustworthy? What's the motive behind what I'm reading? What's all of the information? And I should say, I don't know how accurate this is, right? I should do my research, but I did read something one time saying that each individual's Google is slightly different, right? Our iPhones, our smartphones, they're smart. They learn kind of your habits, and like that also is like, right, the things you Google, the things you like on social media, the things you are talking about online, all of that stuff. Your phone has all that information. And so depending on certain things, you might get different Google answers than somebody else, right? And so, not to be political, right? But if you are a Democrat, you may Google certain things and get more Democratic answers. If you're Republican, you may Google things and get more, those just seem to be like the first things that populate in your Google searches. The same is true for like nutrition, right? So if you're someone who's following, I don't know, like Liver King, like that guy, if you guys are unfamiliar, he is quite a treat. Got very famous by telling people to eat all liver, obviously one of them, and all sorts of like animal products, and he only ate meat and did all the whatever. Turns out he was taking a bunch of steroids. So again, a person who online is saying, I'm just eating healthy and I'm exercising and this is the diet I follow and these are the supplements I take, and if you take them, you can be like me. No, it turned out he was taking a ton of steroids, like $10,000 a month worth of steroids. So you just never really know what someone's doing, what the truth is, right? Even so, getting back to my Google point, even when you Google certain things, just take a second to read it, right? Don't just go with the first thing that pops up, that first catchy title. And like, when you see that catchy title, click into the article, just read it a little bit. Sometimes the headline is not giving you the full picture, right? You gotta just read it a little bit more, ask questions of those around you, of the professionals in your life, to really kind of help you navigate. And just be mindful that just like when you post something online and maybe you put like a fun song behind it and you put a filter on it, or you do whatever, these professionals are doing the same thing, right? They're just showing you snapshots. They're just showing you what they think you want to see. There are so many people out there, potentially doing steroids or just doing things that they're not telling you about, and that's actually how they are looking, feeling, moving the way they're feeling, but they're trying to sell you on, oh, just take these vitamins and you'll feel better, or just do this cleanse and you'll feel better. And really, they also just might have really good genetics, right? There are so many other things that go into play, so it's hard to just see things online and then be like, oh, that's what I should be doing, right? Your whole life might be different, all of you that I'm talking to come to CrossFit, none of us are games athlete, that's fine, we're not going there. And so if I was to follow, and I do follow some games athletes, there's no way I'm going to live the life they are living. I am not getting paid to work out 6 hours a day. So yeah, they're going to be in much better shape. They're going to do all these, really cool, whatever looking recovery things. And they have the time to do that, and they're being paid to do those things. Most of us have jobs that we go to every day, have families that we have to take care of, with all these other things that these people just may not have to deal with on a day-to-day. That's going to change stuff, right? And just also seeing the snapshot of their life online does not mean that's actually what's happening behind closed doors, right? So just, I could probably rant forever about the misinformation online and how frustrating social media can be, right? There's people are editing their photos, they're editing things to look a certain way, they're just posting the one video with the good lighting and their abs looking a certain, right? There's so many tricks to make it look flashy, cool, whatever online. But at the end of the day, you are only going to see the best results and be your healthiest self when you just put in the boring work day in and day out and just build better habits for your life, right? If you just drink more water, sleep more at night, eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more protein, exercise, that's really what it is, right? And so the internet and social media, they're gonna try and put all these really cute, fun bows on it and spin it a different way and buy this product and do this thing, but it really all just comes down to doing those basic things. So do not get stuck in this habit of comparing yourself to people you see online, thinking you have to live a way somebody else is living, right? What works for one person may not work for you, whether that be food preferences, culture, lifestyle, whatever it is. But just because this is working for somebody does not mean it's gonna work for you, and vice versa. And that's okay, right? We are all individuals. And so while yes, as humans, we can all benefit from drinking water, eating fruits and vegetables, eating more protein, etc., we're still individual people, right? And the way our body processes things, and the way our body handles stress, and our day-to-day, and what we have going on, all of that is so unique to you that you just simply cannot follow what a stranger on the internet is doing and then think that's gonna work for you, or then be upset that it's not working for you, right? So the internet's great. There's a lot of really cool, good information. I do recommend, following people and following different nutritionists and just getting different tips and things like that. But do not get lost in I have to do exactly what they're doing. I have to buy their product. I have to remove food groups from my life. I have to, right? If you're finding people or finding things that are taking it to the extreme, that are talking about absolutes, saying never do this or always do this, or whatever it is, those are just some red flags. Okay, so I know the internet can be awesome, it can be challenging. If you're ever sure, if you ever come across and that's it too, right? If you ever come across something that seems too good to be true, 5-minute abs, or all that kind of stuff. I just remember in high school buying all of those 10-minute ab workout videos and stuff like that. So if something seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? When it comes to nutrition, when it comes to health, fitness, all of that stuff, results are not fast, okay? And if you do get fast results, usually means not sustainable. So look for people that are being honest about, like, yeah, it's gonna take work, it's gonna take time, you gotta put in the effort every single day. And, you know, find those people that are like, find balance in life, right? If you're following people that, again, are being extreme, that's not sustainable. And they're probably also not doing it. They're just selling you on what they think you want to hear, right? So if you're following health experts, things like that, just be mindful of who you're following. It's also fine to follow people and be like, I know, you know, some things they say are a little out there, it's fine. I just like some of their content, it's fun. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But just be mindful of what it is you're taking in. Make sure you're not comparing yourself to people on the internet. We are all on our own journeys, in our own time. Like, do not worry about what somebody else is doing, you know? And keep in mind too, like, I am in my 30s, right? Like, I cannot be following these 22-year-olds and then be like, oh, why don't I do what they're doing? Yeah, because I have, like, you know, a decade on them. So it's not, right? It's not gonna be the same. Someone at 18, yeah, their metabolism's gonna be way faster than yours. They might be able to get away with not sleeping as much, or, you know, not following as strict of a diet, or, you know, whatever it is. So also keep that stuff in mind. Like, what is this person's background? There's a lot of weightlifters that I follow where I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, they were like a gymnast for 15 years. They're gonna be more mobile than I am, or they're just gonna move better than I am. Like, so keep that perspective and just, you know, be cautious when you're on there, right? Keep in mind that social media is also meant to be fun, so not everything on there is serious, right? A lot of people will do like sarcastic videos now about different nutrition stuff and things like that, so also keep in mind with what you're watching, make sure you know like the tone of it. Is this a serious video? Is this just like a joke video? You know, different things like that. And if you ever have questions, you can always ask me, you can ask Dennis, right? If you see a post about something or you see an article about something. I have a couple nutrition clients who are always sending me articles like, oh, I saw this, like, what do you think? I saw this, what do you think? I am more than happy to share my thoughts with you, talk with you about stuff. If you're curious about different things, you know, Dennis and I are both here to answer questions you guys might have. And so, yeah, that is, it's kind of it on the internet. Much shorter talk today. Our second to last one before the challenge is over. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the challenge. I hope you have been building some habits. I hope you're looking forward to continuing building on, like, you know, the good habits that you've started during this challenge. And even once this is over, anytime you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to Dennis or myself. Ask us stuff. If you guys like the accountability of, you know, of a challenge and you want to continue some sort of nutrition coaching, definitely talk to Dennis or myself. We both offer nutrition coaching, so we're more than happy to continue working with any of you if you guys are in for that. And yeah, any other questions, just reach out. All right, see you guys.